Okay, now hopefully you're all getting settled over into the live stream. I'll give it a second. Hopefully everything will kick over. Thanks for watching the premiere of the personal storytelling clip with me. Get in, say hey. There you are, Lyman. Interview in 2 hours. Let's do it. I think everybody's popping over now. So I did a little something different today where I wanted to run a clip of actually what you have been watching this week since Sunday. I've been celebrating all week because yesterday, August 6th, was the 1-year anniversary of the launch or the release of the ZEBRA Code. And so all week, and it's on my YouTube channel, so even if you're just jumping in today, on Sunday, I had something about mindset. On Monday, we talked about your focus and being able to focus. On Tuesday, we talked about self-awareness. Yesterday, we talked about building empathy. Today, we talked about personal storytelling and sharing yourself and your struggles. I think I don't know if Kara circulated this one yet, but I one of the ways you want to bond with people is to turn your mess into a message. That's what today was really all about. And I gave you the storytelling structure that I've been teaching for a good number of years. It began when I started teaching this 6 or 7 years ago in my leadership coaching program, and it got more formalized. And there's even a chapter in here that I think starts on page 197 about the power of your personal story. So what I wanted to do today was have some fun, celebrate the year. I guess zebras, well, I call it my zebra blaze. I have a big ceramic zebra that my wife bought me in my writing room. Blaze sits behind me every time I'm up there writing. And so I thought it would be kind of fun to celebrate today. I've got a number of things for you. I've got some gifts that you can take advantage of, some other great lessons that I've pulled from my leadership library vault, $250 worth of lessons I'll give you for free. So there's a lot going on. I want to start this with a story. It was 3:08 in the morning. It was May 2024, and it was the 4th session of my audiobook. So I wasn't writing, I was reading the book for the audio version that came out with the hardcover. I'm sitting right here at this desk. 3:08, it is jet black. The only lights in the entire neighborhood are the ones in my office. And I'm sitting here. There's 2 mugs right here just to my right. One of them was an Iron Man mug filled with coffee. And I use the Iron Man mug because I like the reminder that when I look at it, it helps me remember that I can endure any level of pain. And right next to it was a mug with throat coat tea in it, herbal tea, and next to that was a green apple. So that as I was about to record, this was the 4th day of the audiobook, I would drink the tea, bite the apple, so that nothing was coming out of this throat except purified words and no lip smacking and none of that stuff. And so I couldn't have any papers on the desk. I had to have the ebook on the computer. This microphone was in a swivel boom arm. For heaven forbid I would actually touch the desk and there would be a sound. And you might be wondering, well, what the hey are you doing at 3:08 in the morning? Why would you be up doing it at that time? Well, you need to know that at 4:30 in the morning, the 4 dachshunds and the entire posse that I had at that time would be screaming down the stairs. Harley would start sneezing in the bedroom that is the farthest in my house from this location. It didn't matter because this microphone would pick that up, as well as Mrs. LaCivita flushing the toilet. So I had basically about 75 minutes to get done what I needed to get done. But the ducks that are on my pond, they don't get the memo. So I get up because I hear them quacking. I go through the sunroom, through the kitchen, through the glass doors out onto the deck, and I'm standing there leaning over the railing, screaming at the top of my lungs, telling them to shut up, knowing full well that the neighbors got to be hearing this because, I was really broadcasting the signal, if you know what I mean. And you might be wondering, well, why are you telling me this? Because I want you to know that if you are ever going to take on something that is going to truly transform this world, not to mention, more importantly, yourself, you are going to do some things where you're going to look in the mirror and you're not going to recognize that person. You're going to wonder, what kind of lunatic is screaming at 3:09 in the morning at the ducks on his pond in his yard? Right? What the things that I would go through and the lengths that I would go to and the things that I would think and the things that I would do, you wouldn't even recognize me. And I want you to know that if you've ever gone through this, you are on the right track. Because to do anything epic, you are going to get to a strange place that is unrecognizable. That's what transformation is all about. And so if no one gets you, it's okay. They're not supposed to, because you're not doing something that normal people do. And so when I hold this book in my hand, I'm not kidding you. Anytime I hold the book, I can think about that and all the stories that accompany what it took to get this thing out, living and breathing. You read it, you turn the pages, and I hope that you get some great instruction. And some of you know me well enough where you're going to hear me talking right through the words, and I love that. And it's really hard to describe. And so if you want to change the world, even if it's your own world, it is worth it. Now, I will also tell you, in all honesty, that I will never, ever again take on a challenge like this. And you might be wondering, well, what do you mean? You're not going to write another book? No, I actually just agreed with the publisher on Tuesday, in fact, 2 days ago, to officially what the next book will be, what it's going to be called, what it's going to be about. So it isn't that I won't take on an assignment where I'll write another book, because I will. We're targeting January 2027 for that book to be out. But this book, when I had to think about what to write about and what I wanted to bring to the world, you might notice this. You might notice this in your own work, or you might notice this in the books you read. You probably favor books that are relatively simple, that address, meaning the scope of what the book is very narrow. How to build a habit, right? How to be more organized, whatever it might be. And the more narrow the scope of the book and the easier the problem is to solve, the more people will enjoy it, the more it will likely sell, and that's okay. And I knew full well that when I was writing this book, that I wasn't writing it for the top 1%. I was writing this for probably 1 in 100,000. Meaning, if you actually, show of hands, I don't know who has this book, but if you bought this book, that's a great step. You took a step that a lot of people won't, meaning that you are taking a step to better yourself. And better yourself for your career. You don't even need to be better, right? You can punch the clock, you can collect the paycheck. And the person who bought this book is rare. The person who read the book is rarer still. The person who read the book and actually built a career plan, actually read this thing cover to cover and built a career plan, that's got to be 1 in 1,000. But the person who actually got the book, read the book, built the plan, marked up the book, read the lessons, did the challenges, and tunes it over months and years, that person's 1 in 1,000,000. Now, I don't know what you are. And even if you didn't buy the book, that doesn't make you a bad person. And even if you bought the book and read it and enjoyed it, that makes me happy. Or even if you said, hey, I need help with communication. I need help with networking. I need help delegating, coaching, coming up with ideas, mentoring people. I need help building trust. I need help with my focus. I need help with building habits, whatever it is. And you flip back to a chapter, that's going to make me happy. But I want you to know, when I set out to do this, I knew full well that it would only fly with so few. But I didn't want to rob those few, nor myself, of organizing a problem that is so difficult and mysterious and needed demystifying, which is, how do I build a career development plan that I could use so that I know what skills to build, and I know when to build them, and I know how to build them. And that's really, really hard problem to solve, because you not only need to know that, you not only need to have the sequence, you not only need to have the methods, but you also need to know the how-tos and how to do that. All of that is poured into this. So it's not the 100 days in a row of 1,000 words a day that it took me to write this. It's the 35 or 6 or 7 odd years it took me to learn the lessons and then engineer the methodology, put it in a book, and then do all the writing, do all the recording, do all the marketing, do all the touch-ups, the agony over the cover, the agony over the book club, all of that stuff was totally worth it. But I know now it's done. And so any subsequent publications from me are going to be addressing some of the individual, very, very specific, very, very narrow troubles or problems that people have, like communication or something like that. So I want you to know that if you have this book and you read it, you are really, really rare. And if you do the exercises, you're rarer still. But if you actually built this plan, I invite you to email me and send it to me, and I will look at it, because I'm sure that my inbox is not going to be too filled with those. But if it's you, I'll look at it. So I can't thank all of you enough who have supported my work, and I do hope that you grab this copy. Any new purchases of this, I've got a little something for you. But if you are interested in what's inside and you've never seen this, let me just show you the table of contents, just so you understand what this book is about. So this is the PDF version of the ebook, and let's zip it down. And actually, wait, here's the dedication. To all those I've helped, your desire to improve yourselves has made me a better teacher. That is so true, because if my life was the only life that was changed as a result of writing this book, I would do it. It was worth it. There are projects out there that are begging for you to do them. If your life is the only life that's changed, I encourage you to do it, because that's the most important thing. But a piece of you has found its way into this book. It's as much yours as it is mine. I meant every word of that. And then if you just want to understand what's inside the book, I talk to you about the ongoing struggle that people have, and that this is the tuition bill that you never stop paying, right? Formal education is done, I'm guessing, for most of you. And so what I did here was I built you a career syllabus that any white-collar professional, irrespective of what your vocation is or your domain expertise is, you can use this book to build the most important skills you could ever imagine. Meaning, I might not be able to teach you how to code in Java or C++, but you're going to need to know how to focus. You're going to need to know how to develop self-awareness. You're going to need to know how to build habits or run and plan and run your day. What about becoming more confident and overcoming imposter syndrome? What about building empathy and trust and knowing how to network and how to communicate in all directions of all facets? Crafting compelling messages is how to create messaging used for any medium, whether it's written, verbal, nonverbal, a workbook, a white paper, a book, a screenplay, or whatever. How do you craft messages that get people to love it, react, and actually get into motion, where you are moving them to achieve their goals, make a decision, or do something to act upon? And then we talked a little bit about today, just about your personal story and how valuable that can be. Mastering your trade. This is about how you become the best Java coder, the best executive, the best COO, the best marketer, the best accountant. What does it take to actually become the best of the best of the best in your domain expertise? And then there's coaching and mentoring and delegating and creating creative ideas. I help you diagnose where you are, build your plan, and I capped it off with my gift on how to find your gift. You get the idea. So if you grab it today, new hardcover purchases only. And if you already have it, I love you for it. Buy another one and gift it to somebody, because people need help. And what I've packaged up and what's available until Sunday night, August 10th, is I'm giving anybody who purchased the hardcover, so you got the link, you can grab it from Amazon. All you need to do is email your receipt to support@milewalk.com, and I'm basically giving, and some people have already grabbed this, but I have a leadership coaching program. It's got over 80 lessons inside the library, and what I did was I created a package where I'm going to give you a video-based lesson on how to build your career plan. So this is what's in the book, but I'm bringing it to life for you in a video. So you're going to get an hour-and-a-half video of this. I'll give you the slides. I'll give you the workbook and those kinds of things. I'm also going to show you how your skills influence your earning power. And then what I did a number of months back, some of you filled out a survey for me, and I asked you if I was to give you some free lessons, what lessons would you like? You said, I want to become more self-aware, I want to overcome imposter syndrome, and I want lessons on how to create influential communication. So good news for you, I put all of those in there, and you can go in and actually watch. I don't know, this is an hour and 20 minutes. They're all usually about an hour and a half. They all have a workbook that you can grab. You'll be able to get all of these workbooks. All of the workbooks have a write-up of what's inside. You can see much more detail and work the exercises. It's really pretty cool. And so all of you who send us their receipt, I'm going to give you those lessons. So basically, it's usually about $50 a month to be in my membership. I'm going to give you 5 lessons. So that's where I come up with, that's $250 worth of free lessons. So all you need to do is grab this version of the book, the hardcover, and let us know that you got it. And then Kara will help you get that added to your Mile Walk Academy library. Or if you don't have a Mile Walk Academy library already, then we will help you create one. So it's my gift. It's good through Thursday night, or sorry, through Sunday night. And then one other thing that I want to mention before we get into the Q&A, a couple things. If you are liking this and you are interested in actually going deeper into the library, you'll be able to see what's in the entire leadership library. So it's broken up by lifestyle and wellness. There's a whole bunch of things here on lifestyle and wellness. We recently did a financial fitness preview on the YouTube channel. I got my health blueprint, all this good stuff. We've got organization and productivity. So all of these Zebra Code chapters have a corresponding video-based lessons. All of these are in here. Success and high performance. You get the idea. If you try to open any of these up, what's going to happen if you have the free version, it's going to just ask you to upgrade. So if you are interested and you want to join us for the full leadership program, any of the new folks who want to join the annual plan, I have a monthly plan and an annual plan. The annual plan is normally $297. So you basically get like 6 months free if you go on the annual plan. I will tack on, or I should say reduce your first year subscription by $50. So we've run promotions for people who've grabbed copies of the Zebra Code in the past. I had different coupons that we would give you and book clubs and other things that I'm running. But right now, you can get this free $250 pack. It's yours. We drop it in your library. No subscriptions, no strings attached, no fees, no nothing. And all that's free. But if you like what you're seeing and you want to join us for our monthly sessions, you want access to the entire library, I'll give you $50 off, which is quite a bit off the annual membership. And then if you just are wondering, well, what's coming up, I'm just going to show you what's on the docket for the rest of the year. I'm going to be teaching you how to build a business case on August 22nd. In September, we are going to be going through the employee year-end handbook. How do you get everything ready that you need to get ready in order to finish the year strong, but also everything that's a precursor to negotiating your pay raise, conducting your performance review. And then in December, we have 2 sessions, one on reflection. I'm going to give you my annual reflection exercise. And then we're also going to talk about goal setting so that we can get ready to start 2026 strong. So that's really all I wanted to mention about that. But here again, I really would love it if you grabbed a copy of the book. If you already have a copy of the book, grab a hardcover, send it to a friend. If you got the ebook or the audiobook that I recorded at 3:08 in the mornings for you over the course of a week, well, buy the hardcover. It deserves a place on your shelf, doesn't it? For dear old Coach Andy. I love it. And I know a lot of you have been so supportive. It's really been an awesome, awesome run. And I think somebody asked me what the next book is. What's the biggest problem that you have in your life, in your work, accelerating through the ranks? What's the biggest problem that you face? Tell me that in the chat as I read a few of these chats, and then we start taking some questions. I think I also would love to know, for those of you, let me know what your biggest struggle is. And others, if you've read this book, what was your favorite chapter or favorite part? I would love to hear that. And the other thing, if you've read the book, would you please do me a favor and go out to Amazon and just put a quick review out there? They really, really help. It's really hard to get reviews. It really is hard to get reviews. And so I really would appreciate that. Is a great way to support the book. Just put an honest review. That's all I ask. The more reviews on Amazon, it really does help people find the book. And a lot of people need help with their career. Lisa Williams. Can we give Lisa Williams a free year in the leadership program? Yes. The next book is on communication. This is not the title, but it will be like a communication code book, okay? And that's what we agreed. That's what we agreed to. And I already have the title and the subtitle and the outline because it was part of the proposal that I gave, and they loved it. They are so excited. I've already got editing commentary back on ideas they have for the structure, and so I've got to get rolling. I got to get rolling on the writing. But I have plenty of time to write it to reach a January 2027 deadline. No problem. Lisa Williams, you know I love you. You deserve a free year. So we just tack it on to the end. That's what we do when you're in it already. What other struggles do you have? By the way, the communication book will address everything: speaking, writing, inspiration, verbal, nonverbal, all that good stuff. I'm so excited, and I love the name of the book. I did everything backwards this time, but I love it. Okay, that's gift number one. Let me see. I think, yeah. What was your favorite part of the book? What was your favorite part of the book? And what was, and please put performance anxiety, Diane. Hot dog, thank you. Welcome. You're welcome, Lisa. You're welcome. Thank you for being such a great supporter of the Malawak Academy. And speaking of Lisa Williams, 321 Williams, I have the book, marked it up, reread the parts I needed, but did not start the exercise. Lisa Williams, you're like 1 in 1,000. 1 in 1,000, that ain't too bad, right? Not even a 1%er. Philip Arby, I have 4 hardback copies, 1 Audible and 1 Island. That's why you're my brother from another mother, buddy. Great to see you, and congratulations again. Dimitra, my copy is arriving today. I love it. Chichikov, is that Chichikov? 15, the book is crazy good, very high value content. Nothing out there compares to its straightforward and rational approach to professional development. I say this as a retired U.S. Army LTC. I'm going to make sure that I get a picture of that, not to mention the rest of them, so we can put it on the page, because we've got a page here that we're trying to let people know that if they grab the book by Sunday, they can have they can have these leadership lessons. So it's always really nice to hear that. Thank you so much. Believe me, I rewatch all of these. I read the chat. I read all the messages. Even if I don't get to them in the live show, they mean the world to me. They really do. That it has touched your life in a positive way. It's what I live for. It is my mission. And I don't want to sound trite. I don't even think like I have a job. When people say, I don't even know how to answer the question, what do you do? I have a mission. My mission is that everybody gets to go to a job they love. That's it, right? If anybody wants and is willing to work hard, they should be able to go to a place, or even if it's out of their home, do something they like. How do I help them make that happen? So I love that. Thank you so much for that. Amanda, yes, I will get back to you. I know that's tough. Jennifer Bennett, love to have you at the shows. My company is resistant to improvement and doing things. Is this a question? Wait, let me see. Hang on. We getting into the questions, Care? Now remember, like I said, if you're interested in joining the leadership program, $50 off the annual. Just tell Kara, she'll give you a coupon. By the way, I wasn't explicit about this. I'm not advertising that in emails or anything. The fact that you I don't know how many of you are here right now. I don't know, 88 of you or however many of you are, I don't know how many of you are here, but you're the only ones that are going to hear that. If you're interested, grab it. And if you're a boot camper already, you know you get a discount, so you're going to get $50 on top of your boot camper discount. It's like $80 off. I'm trying to make this as easy as possible for you to get the help that you need. All right, Jennifer Bennett, my company is resistant to improvement and doing things any other way than they currently do. What's the question? You ask me the question, I'll give you an answer. Bridget, most difficult and important, knowing how to get them from I'd like to execute. Oh, these are the toughies. Okay. Excel Storm, keeping up with his how fast things seem to be changing, and knowing what skills to keep up with and be the ones to acquire and how. So let me offer you something. You saw the table of contents in the Zebra Code. Let me pull that back up. One of the things I cannot stress enough, what is one thing that is common about all of these things? These are not skills that will ever go away and will always be valuable. Communication, networking, trust, getting somebody to trust you, being empathetic. And you're noticing that what's inside the Zebra Code are career skills. I assure you, no matter what changes over time, none of these skills, your ability to focus, having good habits, running an effective day, will ever change. Meaning the level of importance in those skills will always be there. You will always need those. Then this section here, Mastering Your Trade, talks with you about the how to actually make sure that you are building the right skills within your domain expertise and staying ahead of the curve. And so you don't know how to do that. That's what I try to teach you, not only in this book, but there's, of course, there is a corresponding video lesson or lessons for every chapter in the Zebra Code, and many, many more, because I only put 15 of them in the book because I was on a pitch count or a word count. But there are so many lessons that bring that all to life and teach you that. If that's something that you want to get more help with, there's the video lessons, the workbooks, the exercises, and all of that as well. So, but yes, that is a great one, because the way that the world is changing, this is as slow as it's ever will be. It is. That isn't, how frightening is that? Stephen Green. Oh, and Diane, performance anxiety. I got that one. Stephen Green, Zebra favorite chapters. Part 4, communicator. Part 9, draw your own map. I love it. That teaches you, right, how to develop the communication skills that you need in order to develop solid relationships with people. And then drawing your own map is putting your plan together. Holly Carr, struggle mentoring coworkers to be more empathetic and supportive. Holly, maybe buy them the book, or at a minimum, low-cost alternative, send them to my YouTube channel and say, hey, watch Andy's videos for this week. And they're all in 10-minute or 5-minute or 8-minute bite-size little clips all the videos you're getting this week, I shot those more than a year ago. So I pulled them out of my book club, I trimmed them up, and I thought it was just a great time to release them. So send them there. And then Amanda G, favorite part of the book, the exercises at the end of the chapter so I could practice actionable takeaways. So what she is talking about is every single spot in the book, every single chapter, I couldn't just leave you with the knowledge. I needed to help you groove the lesson. And so what happens at the end of each of the chapters is, I think I can pull this up pretty quick. At the end of each of the chapters, there is an exercise. And I not only prime the exercise with thought provokers, but then I give you the steps of what to do. And if you're wondering what that looks like, I just pulled up the first chapter here, there's a focusing exercise. So I give you what's called thought provokers, what the biggest areas in my life I need to start giving more attention to. And then there's a challenge of how to practice focusing. And so every single chapter of all of the 15 lessons that are identified has one of those. And then you've heard a couple people alluding to build the map and build your plan. There's an exercise at the end where I show you how to pull it all together and build a macro level career development plan, which I think is the hardest thing in the world to actually do and keep up when you're a professional. Because what? We all know how busy we get. You, repeat after me, people. You are not lazy. You're unfocused. That I'm not being critical here. We all are. We need to work really, really hard at being really, really focused. And so if you are not able to understand how to corral your focus, and I mean it in a figurative and a literal sense. If you don't know how to draw a plan that helps you do that, and you don't know how to carve the time out each day or each week to be able to build your skills, you're never going to actually do them until it's too late. And you do not want to be behind the curve where you lost your job because your skills were stale, or if you're out of work because you don't have the skills because you didn't build whatever you needed to build to keep up. So it takes a lot of energy and thought. All right, let's see. How are we doing? Are you guys enjoying? If you're enjoying the live stream, if you're with me on the live stream, click the thumbs up on the live stream. That helps too. I'm trying to see where my chats are. And this always messes me up because they combine the chats and then it's all one thing. And so when I'm watching this together, it's always fun. Okay, let's see. Amanda, thank you for that. Nikki L, Chapter 20. You guys love to build your plan? I will tell you, that was really fun to write. It's very, very hard. This is a very, very hard problem to solve. And when it's a hard problem to solve, it's usually even a harder problem to communicate to somebody else how to do something. So you cannot know how happy I am to hear you directly today telling me that the Build Your Plan is one of your favorite chapters. And you know what? Since so many of you commented, I'm going to try to get to that and just show people what that might look like. And I think I can get here to the end. The self-diagnostic. So I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go right to the Build Your Plan. So what Stephen Green and Nikki are talking about is toward the back of the book, there's Build Your Plan, right? Life doesn't come with a map. You need to build yours, of course, but the only way to complete it is to get lost a few times. Go easy. Go easy. So what does the plan entail? It entails identifying your goals, identifying your skills, the lessons you need, the tools you need, the coaches, hopefully dear old Coach Andy's in there, the calendar. You got to make sure you have a time-based view. You got to know where you are on the map. You got to have a way to track it. And no matter who you are, no matter how hard you work, if you do not have the right success metrics, you will not be happy. You will not be happy. So I take you through this and how to do it all. And so I give you a step-by-step review in your assessment, ask your questions, the goal of the step, and basically I take you through everything. I won't walk you through everything. You get the idea. My point is, it is an absolute sin for a coach of any kind to leave you with a lesson without an action plan or without the action items and the steps. And this is really, really hard. So I know that a lot of you can read the lessons and work and gain just by reading the book, right? You'll get ideas and you'll get tips and tricks. But if you really want to implement them and integrate them into your everyday life, your everyday business, your everyday team, your everyday production, you need to practice and you need to constantly measure and tune. You need to know if you're getting better. But what I don't want you to do is be measuring your progress against the wrong metric. That's going to make you unhappy and it's going to make you throw in the towel. We don't ever want that. We don't ever want that. So these are great. Let's see. We've got some questions here. And let me know if you have any questions on the bonuses. The $250 in lessons are free. Like I said, no subscription, no strings. But if you want to take advantage of $50 off the annual package, and if you're not in my boot camp, the rate is $297 minus $50, $247. If you are a boot camper, your rate is $267. You drop $50 off that, $217. So it's a pretty good deal. Grace, if it's true, so maybe this is the first part of the question. If it's true that no one on their deathbed ever said, I wish I had spent more time on my business, how do you navigate work-life balance? So I'm wondering if you're asking me, how do I navigate work-life balance? I would like to tell you this, and I know this is not for everybody, but anybody who achieved anything truly great did not have balance of any kind. Okay, let's just dispense with that. So my life right now is built. It's beautiful. It's perfect the way it's run. However, I worked 1,500 days straight. 1,500 days straight. Wrap your mind around that. Because it was important to me that I create this business so that I could reach tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of people around the globe, because I felt like I had something to offer them. In order for me to create this business, I was running in my other business, my recruitment business, and this full-time, both going full tilt for years that overlap. That's why for 1,500 days, I didn't have a day off. I'm not saying you need to do that, okay? But it was important to me to make my mark, to be able to do this and give this stuff to the world. If work-life balance was my goal, this stuff would never happen. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you don't need to work 1,500 days straight. Right now, I have a much more manageable schedule. I do work 7 days a week, but the hours I work on the weekends are less. I do a lot of exercising. I spend a lot of time with my wife. I still see my friends and all the things that I play with my dogs, and all of that is dialed in, and I've sacrificed other things that I'd have. Maybe I don't golf anymore. I used to golf a ton. Now I've channeled it into time in doing other things. The other thing is I know that people go around saying, well, on people's gravestones, it's never going to say I should have worked more. I'm never gonna say that. That will never come out of my mouth, because it required me to work more to help more people. What it should say, if I had a tombstone or a grave site stone or whatever, is he wished he could have helped more people. Right. In order for me to do that, I would have had to work more. So I have to figure out where the balance is between my priorities, and anybody who has not seen my goal setting masterclass probably doesn't understand the way I look at the priorities and how I weigh everything and what my most important factors are related to my mind, body, and my spirit, my family and my relationships, my vocation, and the things, and how I create order among all of those. But I will tell you, I assure you, anybody who accomplished anything great did not have work-life balance, and not everybody has to subscribe to that philosophy. But I'm saying to you, if you want to accomplish more, it's not going to happen 9 to 5. You could make a good living 9 to 5, and you can go through a career and get your promotions and do those kind of things, and that's awesome. But I'm talking to the 1 in a 1,000 or 1 in 100,000 person who wants to go all the way, who wants to spend the time to build the skills, to accelerate the ranks faster and get more out of it, and build all those skills that I talked with you about that were in the table of contents and then some. This book was written for them. And then the work-life balance, I'd point you right to planning and running your day and all my productivity stuff. That's how I manage all of that. But I'm not going to work 1,500 days straight again, but I needed to at one point in order to be here with you now, doing this to this level of proficiency. So that's the way I look at that. And then everybody gets to choose what they want to do, whether they want to work hard or whether they want the work-life balance. Let's see. B, I'm moving from Canada to Poland. Sounds exciting. 100% remote job, individual contributor at company, 2 years. Oh, you've already been in the role? Global startup, 100 staff. Boss gave me a heads up. HR exec will adjust my salary to Poland cost of living. However, my job duties, Canada work hours, value won't change. I've worked from Poland for many months and I'm a high performer. How should I negotiate back when the time comes? Well, I don't know which B you are. And if you are in my leadership coaching program, there is the how to negotiate your pay raise. The pay raise is based on an employee value plan and proposition that you create. All of that is about the value you're creating, not the conditions upon where in which you live or the number of hours you're working or any of that. But I'm looking at, here's what you're having me do. Here's what it means to you in terms of value. Here's the value I created. You owe me a bonus for what's happened already. Here's the value I'm going to create going forward. And then there are a number of factors that you have to look at for what you're going to create going forward. So when you adjust your pay, just remember the pay adjustment is for future work only. Bonuses or anything paid in arrears is done. So you square up with bonuses and other retro pay for that. Now, there's nothing wrong to reward you for loyalty, longevity, and those kind of things, but I'm giving you a pay based on what you are going to do. Going forward, wherever you are, whether in Canada or Poland or working remotely and handling Canadian processes or whatever it is, you are looking at, so here we are. It is August 7th. We're going to have a performance negotiation with B, performance review, negotiation, and salary adjustment. You are going to tell me, Andy, I'm going to continue what I'm doing, except in this year coming up, 25 to 26, I'm this much more proficient, which means even if I'm working on the same projects, I'm going to be able to get them done faster, get them done better because I'm experienced. Or, Andy, you're going to have me working on new projects. Those new projects are valued at. Because I'm now more experienced, you're giving me a bigger project, more value, and you are looking at all of these things and making a compelling, plausible, thoughtful, lucid argument about why you should earn more, why you deserve more. You're also going to go to the other side of the coin, and you're going to help your employer understand what would happen if B wasn't here. If you had to refill my position, this is what it would cost you. Now, you're not going to say it in an aggressive manner because you're going to do it in a nice, polite tone. And you're going to also preface it by saying, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I love this company, but I'd ask you to imagine this, right? So there's a number of factors that you need to do. If this is the kind of stuff you're looking for, it's in the leadership program, and we're going to be working on it September, October, and November of all of these things that are employee year-end positioning, creating your value plan and proposition, positioning your argument for negotiating your promotion or pay raise or annual raise or whatever it is, you always should. And then how do you actually conduct that performance review as well? That's September, October, November. August is building a business plan. August is great. Building a business plan. How do you sell projects, statements of work, business cases, and all that good stuff so your ideas get launched. And then December is about positioning you, looking back and looking forward. So I love it. And if you want more, it's in there. But that's the approach I would take. MLK Post, Andy, do you have any wisdom on the recent jobs report, the more significant than normal changes to the past month's job reports? Okay, so I looked at the jobs report, as I do every month, because there are ticklers on my calendar to make sure that I go and I read everything. And I listen to the news pundits and I laugh at their viewpoints of what their interpretation is. There are a number of things that you need to factor in to an adjustment. No, so first off, adjustments of that magnitude, like that was so extreme and inept that I question the validity, but I also question, you have to also remember something, what's affecting jobs reports right now that has not been affecting the jobs reports in the last 4 or 5 years. What people are not factoring in or really understanding is our migration patterns affect our jobs reports. The stock market and corporate performances affect the employment. So I know we talked about the financial fitness a couple weeks ago, and now that's hidden. But when you look at where companies' performances are going, these earnings, I'm watching earnings daily, earnings calls, earnings reports, and they're crushing it. I mean, earnings are good in many sectors. And what's happening is there's a combination where the employment market generally lags the stock market, except that stocks have been very, very resilient. And so I'm expecting that the employment market will stay in alignment. Now, one of the things that's been skewing the jobs numbers, which people aren't talking about, but this is my opinion and my speculation. If you notice the level of migrations, meaning people coming into the US or people leaving the US, these numbers are at almost historical lows right now. So there's not people coming into the country and they're not taking some of the jobs. You've got people that had jobs that are being deported, and that's affecting numbers. There's also maybe some conservative approaches with some organizations that are uncertain. But when you look at the lines and you look at the macro level views, the lines are flat, okay? And 100,000 this way and 100,000 that way is not mega, especially when you look at the other indicators like the unemployment rates and some of the openings rates and things of that nature. So there are a lot of forces that are influencing these numbers. But I told this to my masterminders on, I don't know if it was Monday or the Monday before. I am not for that this is anything I would recommend for you. I'm investing in the market like crazy right now. I am buying at like 5 to 10 times my normal rate, because I am so bullish on what's going to happen, especially in the wake of some of these trade agreements, the deficit in our trade deficits in the US going down. I think that organizations are going to be building in the US. I think there's a lot of, I think the AI boom, while you may be following some of the players already known, like the NVIDIAs of the world, I'm looking at what's happening as a result of those kind of chips being developed, those kind of processes and learning models being developed, and what are the other industries that are going to hugely benefit. What people do not understand is the AI itself is going to do so many things that's going to rearrange the stock market as well as the employment market, because most organizations, 75% or greater of organizations, have not taken advantage of the AI improvements. What you are going to start to see is earnings per share going up. You're going to start to see revenue per employee going up for organizations because they're going to get leaner and meaner. And then you're going to say, well, but doesn't that mean that they're going to be operating with fewer employees? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe some of the jobs are going to be reallocated, because anytime there's a change, even when you get efficient by letting employees go, there are other jobs that are going to need to be taken on in order for that company to grow long term. So I think there's going to be a repositioning of some of the employees that are going to be let go or are struggling to get jobs if AI has affected their job in the immediate future. But those people, you're going to have to skill up. And this, like I said, I said this earlier, kind of just a quick comment, but this is the slowest it'll ever be. How scary is that? So it's for all of these reasons that I think you need to make sure that your skills, you are becoming so valuable that they just simply can't live without you. And while you might say, well, any employer can live without anybody, and that's probably true, but believe me, some people it's more painful to let go than others. And so my calendar is not less full with people interviewing, getting jobs, and needing salary negotiation help and all of that stuff. It really is not. And I just, last point on this, I know I'm going kind of long on this answer, but this one got me going. It bums me out when I see things on LinkedIn or YouTube about, the sky is falling, and if you're a job seeker or if you're an employee, you're going to be screwed, or, you're going to get let go, or there's no jobs. That's just simply not true. It's just not true. I'm telling you it's not true. It really is not. That's what I think. Oh, yeah, I get that some of you are having a harder time finding a job than others, but I'm saying at a macro level, that's just not the case. And unemployment is still very low. It really is by historical standards. And it's been flat for a good number of months. And inflation, while it may have ticked up, it's been really, really low for the last 4 or 5 months, really low. And yes, it will go up, of course, because there's going to be some blips here in the next few months, but I just don't see it. affecting employment that catastrophically. Grace, I see a heart here. Great answer. Oh, you must be commenting about the work-life balance one that you asked me. Thanks, Andy. I'm thinking of setting up my own business 12 months from now, so I needed to hear this. Grace, I think Warren Buffett said this, although I don't repeat this. I don't know that I've ever said this, but he's like, it's better to chase clients than bosses. And I understand what he means, but not everybody can own their own business. So to you, I say more power to you, and I wish you a lot of luck. And I know you show up to the session, so I'm really glad to support you. Wait, there's no other questions? Ask me any questions you want. Ask me job searching questions. Ask me anything you want. I've got till 12:30 here for you if you want to try to squeeze a few more in. All right, but if not, grab the Zebra code. It's like $19 on Amazon, and I'll give you the $250 in lessons. If you want to get the book and you want to jump in the leadership program, I'll give you $50 off the first year. I'll give you $50 off whatever your rate is, meaning if you're not a boot camper, meaning you're not in my job search coaching program, because they get a $267 rate, you get a $297 rate, you get the $50 off. So you're either going to pay $247 or you're going to pay $217 for your first year if you're a boot camper who takes advantage of this. Otherwise, grab the book, grab the 5-pack lessons, just email Kara and shoot your receipt. Hardcovers, please. We're trying to drain the Amazon inventory. So, there's a whole bunch of things going on behind the scenes because I want a paperback too. But that's not going to come out for a while. And then I mentioned the schedule, business case schedule, the 22nd. Next Friday, I'm meeting with my job search coaching program members. We're talking boss avatars. So it's not something I've ever taught. It's not something I've ever taught before. I'm going to be teaching it on Friday, August 15th. That's for my boot campers. On Thursday, the 14th, I'm at live office hours. I got a fun topic for you on Thursday. That's free for anybody to pop in. Let's see. I got some questions coming. Shay O'Sullivan, love the name. What are your thoughts on using video for networking? I don't love video. Let me tell you why. Because when you send me I'm making an assumption that, and I don't know if this is correct, Shay, I'm making an assumption that you meant for an opener. Like you're sending Andy a message for the first time, you don't know me, and you're using a video. I never watch a video. And the reason I don't watch videos is, number one, I don't want to click on it. Number two, I don't know how long it's going to be, and I can't skim it. You follow me? When you send me a message, I can read it in seconds. And that's a prudent use of my time when I get an email, even if it's not, or a DM in my LinkedIn inbox or whatever. And I like to skim them. And if you send me a video, I can't skim it, or an audio. Now, if you're doing it because you're exchanging with people you know and they love you, awesome. But I'm assuming that's what you meant. Aylin Cohen, lots of my coworkers use a profile photo for Teams. Do I need one too? I'm wondering if you just mean like your profile so it identifies you. Now, I'm not a big Teams user because we use Zoom for everything. But when in Rome, if everybody's doing it, I don't see any reason why you can't have a profile photo. Seems innocent enough. KR, couple interviews, salary negotiation going on. No one wants to say a number. Your thoughts? So there's a couple of things. Assuming you mean they're asking you for a number, in which case I want you to kick it back to them. Please make me an offer. Make me a good offer. And they're saying, no, we don't want to make you an offer until you give us an offer, us a number. Then I never want you to say, I'm expecting, or my expected salary is, or I would like 100,000 or whatever. Okay. I don't like that, because if they say, well, that's too high, we're only coming back with, or anything of that nature, I don't want you putting it out there in that manner. Now, what I would prefer you say is, for similar roles, I've generally earned somewhere in the neighborhood of. Now, you're going to say, oh my God, Andy, I can't tell them what I earn. What do you care? Your negotiation power comes from here and here. What you used to earn, or even disclosing that, should have absolutely no bearing. I'm giving you this tactic, assuming you can't use any of my other tactics. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I want you to say it this way. If I say, I'm used to earning about $100,000 for this kind of role, if that gives you some guidance, great. Okay, now if they go back and they say, okay, it's a little high for us, and you're willing to take 90 or 80, just say, well, I'm just letting you know what I used to earn. So just to give you an idea. So come back with whatever you think is a good offer. Now they can come back with 90. You can take that if that's okay with you. If they come back and they say, okay, you told us 100, we think 110 is a good starting point, then you can negotiate up from there. And what you used to earn has absolutely nothing to do with your case you're going to make for what you're going to get paid in the future. That is incumbent upon you to put together, again, a lucid, plausible, valuable argument about what you're going to be worth to them based on what you're going to do and what you're going to achieve. If you just say, well, I want more because I want more, well, I'm not going to give that to you. You're going to have to convince me. Okay, so then it's incumbent upon you to do that. But the reason you don't want to say, how about 100,000 is because if they say, oh my God, I can't meet that, there's no way, I'm just not going to move forward. Okay, well, now you've screwed yourself. If you say, well, I'm used to earning, you didn't say, I want 100. You said, I'm used to earning it, just to give you some guidance. If they come back and they say 90s is as high as we can go, and you're okay with that, you could say, okay, I understand this and blah, blah, blah. And you can try to negotiate some other things, more vacation or more training or maybe a sign-on bonus or whatever. But I'm not telling them I want anything until I know where their head is at. And believe me, I've personally negotiated more than 600 employment agreements as a recruiter, and well more than 1,000 as a career coach. So I'm telling you, I know how these things work, and that will help you if these are the parameters, meaning they won't give you any insight, and they're demanding that you give them something. If they're not demanding that you give them anything, then just say, make me a good offer. And go from there. Playlist channel. Hi, Andy. Companies want to lowball me when it comes to salary because I'm not an internal referral. 15 years plus experience. 4 top companies. Help, please. So playlist channel. I'm gonna basically go back to what I was just saying to KR. You've got to make, so for those people that are in my job search coaching program, if you are going to make an argument of what you're worth, you need to know what your areas that you're going to be addressing, what the goals are of those areas in terms of metrics and KPIs and what success looks like. Then you need to show them the degree to which you're going to achieve them or the speed to which you're going to achieve them or how you're going to help them tangibly and intangibly attain them. And then you need to get their eye on the value you're creating rather than the cost. So when you all look at my job search coaching program and you see that if we're running a sale, it's say $1,000, you're like, oh my God, it's $1,000. I'm like, yeah, it's $1,000 if you just look at it that way. But what about the $10,000 or $20,000 or $100,000 raise you're going to get? The fact that you're going to sell yourself better, get your job faster, make a better career decision, and so on. I want you looking at what's going to happen, your transformation. You need to do the same thing. So when you it's not a matter of where you came from. It's a matter of how you're going to get them to understand what you're going to do for them tomorrow. They buy transformation just what you as a customer, you don't buy features. You don't buy that. You buy transformation, right? So nobody buys my program because they got to watch videos. Those are features of the program. You got to watch videos, you do the exercises, you put it in play, you get hired faster, right? Nobody buys it because of that. They buy it for the transformation, meaning, so we got to talk about what the transformation is going to be. If you can't do that, we don't pay you more. If you're in my program, we give you the grid, we show you how to fill it out and all that good stuff. Otherwise, I gave you verbally the areas I would address with them and how I would talk with them about each of the points. But you're going to need to make the argument. Jennifer Bennett, what should my focus and tone? Interview next Friday. I have been out of the field 16 years. I was at the top of the field when I left, and there are almost no qualified candidates in the market. Okay, so not knowing all the details of what you're interviewing for, there is getting them aligned. Okay, so you've been absent for 16 years. Doesn't matter to me if it's 16 years, 6 years, or 6 months. When you are having the dialogue with them, you need to make sure they understand how you're going to transform their lives, which means they need to be able to see how they're going to be transformed, meaning they're going to need to be able to see what you're going to do for them in their environment based on your knowledge of whatever it is that you're doing. Use terminology that is as current as possible. So if you've been been away from this or out of the field for 16 years, even if you've been working for these 16 other years, that's okay. Are you current on what's happening in this field? Use current terminology. Make sure you understand the current trends. Make sure you understand what their goals are going to be. You can AI this stuff. I think you can anti-AI it, right? You make sure you understand what the problems are that they're going to encounter. The more you could speak to what they likely are going to experience or are experiencing currently, and you're showing them how you would address it, even if you have not handled that problem before. Remember, the best person knows this is your goal, these are your problems. I've accomplished those goals for other people and companies, and I've addressed all those problems before. That is the bullseye person. The next best person is, I know what your goals are, I know what your problems are of this litany of issues. Maybe you have all 10 of them, maybe you have 3 of them, whatever it is. I know how to accomplish this goal because I have a plan. I know how to overcome the problems. Here's what we're going to do when we get there. That's the next best person. So you're going to get points if they can imagine, oh, well, when Jennifer gets here, she's going to know what to do, even if she doesn't have it. You follow me? Because you're talking about them in their environment. If you have a dead look on your face and you're like, I don't know what, then no, that's not going to work. So you want to make sure you're current, though, on the language and what things are called and where it's going. That's up to you. You can do that homework. Every one of you can do that homework. Sue, SB, everybody who doesn't know SB was a proofreader of the ZEBRA code. I had 3 of my boot campers proofread it. And me and Kara, of course, we still had typos slip through. But anyway, Sue, I appreciate you. Hearty congrats on the first anniversary. Thank you. The book is instrumental for recalibrating my mindset on many frontiers. Thank you for this gift. Oh, the gift to find my gift. Sue, that was my favorite chapter in the book. It is 11 minutes in the audiobook. It is, I listen to it once a month. I cry every time I listen to it. My own writing. So I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. Baby girl, Cherry, what's up? How should I approach my boss regarding negotiating my salary about being... Okay, wait. So I just got done talking to KR, and I'm in playlist channel. Same thing for you, Cherry. Okay, y'all, I can't thank you enough for coming. I do need to get running. Please click the like button on the live stream. Make sure you subscribe to the station. If you did not catch up on the videos all week, there was ones coming out all week. I've got some messaging for you over the weekend. Next Tuesday, I had a fantastic video. And on Thursday, Kara, what is Thursday? Oh, Thursday next week, live office hours, we're going to be talking about the first 15 seconds of every answer you have in an interview. We're going to talk about the context in my card technique. It's going to be a ton of fun. And then on Friday, boot campers. Anybody who's into boot camp, we're talking boss avatars. I want to get you metaphysically in tune. I want you thinking 10 steps ahead. It's going to be a ton of fun. And masterminders, I'll see you on Monday. All right, everybody, thank you for making my little celebration week. It's still going on through the weekend. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for stopping by today. Thanks for all of you that have grabbed the book. I really hope it has changed your life. Please put a review out on Amazon if you'd be willing to. It just takes a few minutes. It really goes a long way. And I love reading those. I actually do. I don't know any author who ever got better reading their Amazon reviews, but I love to hear how it's helped people or touched their lives. And if it didn't, that's okay. And I'm sorry about that too. But I love the feedback. So y'all have a great weekend. Have a great week. I'll see you next Thursday. Boot campers, I'll see you Thursday and Friday, hopefully. All right, y'all, be good. We'll see you. This will be up on YouTube so you can catch the replay.